going everyone? It's Barles, and I'm back for another Premier League preview. I hope you guys liked last week's video. Hopefully you guys found it quite interesting. Obviously just me thinking about what I would think would happen in the Premier League if you're at like in the week and what the results would be and stuff like that. So hope you enjoyed, but to get straight to this week's fixtures. So the first game of the week is coming up later on tonight, and that's Leicester-Liverpool. That one for Liverpool, I think if it was at home, I'd be pretty comfortable with saying Liverpool. I still think Liverpool will win, but being away, it could be a little bit trickier for Liverpool to be able to break down Leicester's defence, because Leicester are quite good defensively with Claude Puel. I think he's put a good system in for them to be quite strong at the back. And Liverpool are doing nothing wrong. They're obviously top of the league. They're flying. They're winning games left, right, and centre. Like, they didn't play as well as they probably could have against Brighton last week. Brighton were quite good defensively, but they still got 3 points. They still scored. Their front three, Salah, Firmino, and Mane, all still look in good touch. Especially obviously Mane and Salah. Sorry. Just because they're the ones scoring the goals, and Firmino's generally the one setting him up. He's been a bit quieter, so he could be a chance to score this week. In terms of Leicester, they're playing quite well. Manson's standing out in that midfield. They're quite good defensively, as I said before. Claude Puel's got a good defensive structure for them. So I think that it'll be a lot closer than what I think a lot of people think. I think it may still be a 1 or 2-0 Liverpool win. It could even be a 2-1. Leicester may score being at home. But I do think it'll be 2-0. I think Liverpool are going along well defensively and attackingly. So they're firing on all cylinders. So, yeah, I'd say Liverpool should win that game. And I'd keep an eye on Salah in that one as well. He's still going to have he hasn't had a big game yet. He hasn't scored 2 or more goals. So this could be the game. Could be next week. Who knows? It could come out of anywhere. So, and then in terms of Leicester, I'd look out for Maddison as well. He's creating most of the chances for Leicester and being their magician in the middle of the park. Next game, Brighton-Fulham. That'll be a very good game, actually. Fulham are doing very, very well attackingly. Obviously, last week, winning, I'll just look at them, 4-2. Mitrovic looks good up front. He's had the most shots, actually, out of every striker. And he's got the equal most fantasy points, along with Sergio Aguero for Manchester City. So it's a pretty good stat. He's doing quite very, very well. Fulham got a good system at the moment. They can be open at times defensively, but attacking-wise, with Schürrle one side, Sessegnon on the other, Seri in behind, they've got a very, very good system at the moment. And in terms of Brighton, being at home as well, they're even better defensively, but they only conceded 1 goal against Liverpool. Chris Hughton's got a good defensive structure with them at the moment, so they're being very, very good. Like Dunk got injured against United. I don't know if he played last week. I'm just going to have a look at that, actually. Brighton, there it is. I think he did. I'm pretty sure Dunk played last week, but it doesn't really matter anyway. But yeah, they're being very, very good defensively. Like, some will get injured, some will come in. It doesn't matter. Like, as I said, I'm still not 100% sure if Dunk did play last week. It probably doesn't really matter, to be honest. But they were still able to replace him. No, he didn't. He didn't play last week, so he got injured. So they're still able to put in someone else defensively, and they're still only able to see 1 goal. So in terms of that game, I'd predict. That is a really tough one, actually. That one, Brighton are good defensively, but Fulham are attacking very well. I'll probably settle for a 1-1 draw. I reckon a 1-1 draw, even a 2-2 draw. I think it'll be very close. if someone was to say to me, pick a team that you think is more likely to win out of the two, I'd probably say Brighton being at home, but I think it'd be a 1-1 or a 2-2 draw. So that's for me. And then players to watch, I'm just going to quickly through it. Mitrovic, Fulham, and I'm going to say for Brighton, Glenn Murray, because he's probably going to be the one that scores a goal or the goal that could win the game or draw a game or whatever. So, yeah, so next game, moving on to is Chelsea-Bournemouth. Now, last year Chelsea actually lost this exact fixture 3-0 to Bournemouth. Bournemouth went to Stamford Bridge last year and beat them 3-0. So, could it happen again? I don't know. It could happen again. Bournemouth playing very, very well. Ryan Fraser's doing very, very well. Created the most big chances in the Premier League. And a big chance is, if no one knows what it is, big chance is when when they set it up and they should score. So he's got the most big chances in the Premier League. That's out of every single player. So it's very, very good. Bournemouth's playing very, very well. Eddie Howe's a great manager. He's always been very, very attacking. He won't sit back against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. He'll let his players, he'll tell them to go forward, attack and whatever. And they'll be good defensively as well. So Chelsea, this will be a tough game for them. Chelsea only just beat Newcastle 2-1 last week. So it'd be interesting to see what happens in this game. Sarri, I think the Chelsea players are still sort of trying to adjust from being 3 at the back last season to now being 4 at the back, and I think they're trying to just get used to that system and trying to adapt to it. So they've still won 3 games. They've still won all their games. They're going on still quite nicely, a lot better than mine might be. I won't talk about that now. We'll talk about that later. So yeah, I think Chelsea are going along quite well. Even though they're still getting used to the system. So I think that game, I reckon that'll be could be a 2-0 win to Chelsea. Could even be a 2-1 win. I think Bournemouth will. I've got a feeling Bournemouth should score because they've been quite good attackingly. But actually, I will go 2-1 because Chelsea have still been a little bit open defensively. I think 2-1 or a 3-2. I don't think it'll be 3-2. I think it'll be 2-1. I don't think there'll be 5 goals, but you never know. In terms of players to watch, Hazard, he's just starting to warm up. He's starting to get into his groove. So I think he'll be the one that have a big game. And then for Bournemouth, I think how can you go past Ryan Fraser? He's creating the most big chances, and he's probably like to set something up. So yeah, next game, Palace Southampton. This will be a decent game as well. I think Southampton actually going along a little bit better than what I thought they might. They haven't been smashed off the park really in any games. They're still in the bottom half of the table, which is probably where I would have had them at the start of the year. But they're going on quite nicely. Mark Hughes got obviously 5 at the back, so he's being a bit more defensively. So that's why I think that they will struggle to score in games. Palace, on the other hand, are going on very, very nicely. Unlucky not to beat or draw against Watford last week. Ward had a header right at the end and should have made it 2-2. But yeah, they're going along well. Roy Hodgson's got a good all-round system, not just a good defence or good attack. He's got a good all-round system. They're good attackingly, good defensively, good in the middle. They're really good. So I'd say Palace to win that game, and I think that they'll probably win that actually quite comfortably. I think they may win that game 3-0. And in terms of players I watch, I think Zaha will be on the score sheet twice. I reckon you'll get a brace. And I don't think there's really anyone to watch for Southampton because Ings has had a little bit of a knock. So if anyone's going to score for Southampton, it's going to be Ings. So probably watch him. Next game, Everton Huddersfield. This one's pretty simple. I'll go through this one quite quickly. Huddersfield are struggling. There's no question about that. They're struggling to score. They're struggling to keep out goals as well. Whereas Everton, on the other hand, are going quite well. Obviously, Richarlison red card last week, so that's not the best. But I think Everton will still be able to do quite well. They've got Walcott there as well. I'm not exactly sure who they will bring in this week for Richarlison. They could bring in Lookman, who's on the bench. They could bring in even Bernard. Bernard's another one that they could bring in. One of their new signings hasn't played yet. He could be a chance to play maybe on the left-hand side. Or even maybe Sigurdsson has played left sometimes for Swansea and Tottenham when he was there. So he might move out left and they might bring Bernard centrally. But I would say Bernard would be on the wing if he's going to play, because he's got more pace than Sigurdsson. And yeah, as I said, Huddersfield is struggling to score, so I don't really think they'll trouble Everton too much. I'd predict Everton to be a 2-0. I think Huddersfield will still be try and keep the game not very open. So I think Everton will sort of try and work the ball around and try and break through and eventually break down the Huddersfield defence. So I think that it'll be a 2-0 win. They'll eventually break through, and I think they'll get the 2 goals. And obviously, and the Walcott's the one that I'd watch in that game. Richarlison being out, I think he's going to have the what's the word? He's just going to be he's going to have like the burden on his shoulders to be the one that scores the goal or scores the goals, because obviously Richarlison being out, he'll need to score. So yeah, and there's not really anyone to watch Huddersfield because I don't really see them scoring, but Aaron Moy, maybe he might be the one that maybe sets up a goal or something. I don't know. Next game, West Ham Wolves. This is an interesting game actually. West Ham have struggled so far this year, which is it's surprising, but it's not, because West Ham bringing in so many new players. They've still got a time to gel. New manager, they've got to be able to work to his game plan and philosophy. So they've got to try and implement that better. Whereas Wolves, on the other hand, have been quite good. I said last week, I said that Man City were going to weren't just going to be an easy win against Wolves, because I knew Wolves were going to be good, and I said that the Championship winners have won the last 4 games against the champions. So, and they nearly did. It was 1-1. City probably should have won that game. They hit the post 3 times, but what can you do? Hit the post, don't score. So yeah, I think that game, that'll be tight. I think it could be a 1-1 draw. Actually, no, I'll go for 2-2 draw actually, because West Ham have been quite open defensively and Wolves have still let a few chances in. So I think it might be a 2-2 draw. I don't actually think there will be a winner in that game. If there is a winner, it could be either side. It honestly could. It could go 2-1 to West Ham, 2-1 to Wolves, 3-2 to West Ham, 3-2 to Wolves. It could be anything. So I'd keep an eye on in that game. Raul Jimenez for Wolves been good up front. Been good for them. He scored a couple of goals, I think, already. So he may get on the score sheet again. In terms of West Ham, Felipe Anderson has been quite good. So I'd be tipping him maybe to get on the score sheet in this one for the first time this season. Man City Newcastle. That's the later game. That's pretty easy for me. City are going to win that one. I think they're going to win it quite convincingly as well. Newcastle have done nothing wrong. They've been good. Rafa Benitez has been good. They've been good defensively. They just haven't quite been able to find that rhythm and that mojo to be able to score 1, 2, 3 goals in a game. They've only been able to get like the 1 or maybe 2. So I'd say that Man City ticking along quite nicely. I think the De Bruyne injury is still quite significant for them. I still don't think they're running on full cylinders yet. Obviously, they only drew 1-1 against Wolves last week, but I think they've still got another couple of years to go. So Guardiola's got them going on quite nicely, and they're still going to get even better. So I would say that one, I'd predict that one to be a Man City 3-0 win for that one, or a 4-0 win. I think City will get it done quite comfortably. They're doing very well defensively. And I'm tipping possibly another Aguero hat-trick tonight. He scored 11 goals in his last 3 games against Newcastle and 8 in his last 2. He scored 5 goals against Newcastle 2 years ago in this exact fixture at home for City. So yeah, I've got him captain in my fantasy team. I might even put him triple captain. Probably not, but we'll see how it goes. And then Newcastle, if anyone's going to score, it might be Rondon. Rondon might get a goal, but I don't really see Newcastle scoring, unfortunately for them. Cardiff, and then on Sunday games, Arsenal and Cardiff, or Cardiff-Arsenal, it's a Cardiff home game. that one will be quite tricky for Arsenal. Cardiff are going to be quite good defensively, I think. They've been good defensively all season. They haven't actually been smashed off the park at all yet. A bit like Southampton, but I think Cardiff are probably a little bit better. Probably still maybe relegation, but Arsenal have been a bit hit and miss so far this year. They've had patches where they've played well. I think they're still getting used to Emery's pressing game, so it'll be interesting to see how that game goes. I think that one will probably be a 2-1 win to Arsenal. I still think Arsenal will get the job done, but it would not surprise me at all if Cardiff won 1-0 or even a 2-1 to Cardiff, because it's just at home. Arsenal, they're still getting used to. It's a new system, so anything could happen. So, and I look out for Mkhitaryan for Arsenal. If anyone's going to do something, it may be him. Aubameyang may even get on the score sheet. He hasn't actually scored at all this season, which is surprising, but you never know. And then Cardiff, Etheridge has been very good, so I think he may be able to keep quite a number of Arsenal shots out. And yeah, so next game, Burnley Man United. I'll talk about that one last because that's the exact same time as Watford and Tottenham. So I'll talk about that one first. Watford Tottenham. This one top table clash or unbeaten clash. Watford and Tottenham haven't lost a game yet all season. That's what unbeaten means. All 9 points they've both each have got. Watford have been very, very good at home. I thought they may struggle with Richarlison going out, but Rapero's come in and has been fantastic for them. Javi Garcia's got them going along very, very well. I think that's his name, Javi Garcia. I think so. But they're very good defensively and attackingly in their 4-2-2 system that they've got. Tottenham been fantastic as well. They went to United last week and they got the points. And going on the second half, they deserved that. But I'll go into that in a bit more detail in a sec. Pochettino's got them playing very, very well. I feel as though the players trust him and he trusts the players. It's all on the same sort of level of playing field, and they all know everyone knows their role. Everyone knows what to do. So they're going very well. I'd still say Tottenham will come out winners on that one. I think that might be a very, very high scoring game actually. I think that could even be a 3-2 win to Tottenham. It'll have a minimum 3 goals, so it would be a minimum of 2-1, I think, to Tottenham. But it could be 3-2 to Tottenham. It could be a 2-2 draw. That one could be quite tough for Tottenham being away, but I still think Tottenham will get the job done. Tottenham are a good side, so they should get it done. And then keeping on Kane. Kane probably score for them, so he'll be the one to look out for. In the final game, for Watford, Pereira. If anyone's going to score for Watford, it's going to be Pereira, I think. Or even Deeney. Deeney's been good as well. So, in the last game, Burnley United. Man United have been very, very frustrating this season. I thought they might have been able to do a bit better than what they have. They really should have gone to Brighton and won. They didn't play well. I'm not saying that they deserve to win. They should have won. They should have gone there and been able to win, but they didn't. Brighton played well, don't get me wrong. And then last week against Tottenham, I feel as though we could have, should have been 1-2-3-0 up at half time. Lukaku had an open goal, should have scored. There's no excuse for missing an open goal like that where you go around the keeper. So I'm not really quite for Jose Mourinho being sacked yet, but it's getting to a point where it's starting to become very frustrating to watch. But I still have faith that they can still get some results in the next few weeks. And Burnley have been struggling. There's no question about that. With the Europa League, they travelled to the middle of nowhere. I think there's Poland on Thursday for them, or Friday for us in Australia. So it'll be interesting to see how they come back. They conceded 4 to Fulham. Did score 2 of their own, but they did concede 4. So they're not the defensive unit that they were last season. So that'll be interesting to see how Sean Dyche gets them set up defensively against us, against Manchester United. So and it'll be interesting to see how United set up as well after playing some formation with Herrera playing centre back, which is not really what I would have done, because he's not a defensive player. He's like 5'6", 5'7". He's not very tall at all, and he's playing as a centre back. You don't have many centre backs playing that are that short. So going on that, you'd still have to say it's going to be maybe a 1-1 draw, because United have been really, really bad defensively. No matter who has been there, the centre backs have just conceded goals. And it's not De Gea. I don't think it's De Gea's fault. It is the centre back's fault. Luke Shaw's been fantastic. If there was a player of the season for us so far this season, it'd be Luke Shaw. So yeah, he's doing very, very well. Valencia came back last week, looked a bit slow, but I think he'll be able to get back on, get back into form. So I'd probably say that game, I'm gonna go. I'm really hoping it'll be well, obviously I hope United win. I think it may be a 2-0 win to United. Could be a bit biased, I don't know. I'm still struggling to know if that's biased or not. I just think United have got to come out and win that game. It's a must-win game. If we lose that, and then City, Liverpool, and Chelsea and Tottenham all win, we would be we're only on 3 points, and Liverpool and Tottenham are on 9. So they're 6 points ahead. We could be 9 points behind after this game if we don't win. So we really need to win this game to especially stay in the top 4, because you've got Chelsea, Man City, Tottenham, Liverpool. They're all playing well. Watford are even above us, and they're undefeated. So if United want that top 4, they need to start grinding out results, and I think that they need to start this week. We haven't looked convincing in any game so far, except for the first half last week when we should have scored goals. So hopefully we can score a few goals. I still think Burnley will leak goals because they're not the defensive unit they were last year, but they might be, considering coming against United, they might be a lot better defensively. But it'll be interesting to see. I think we'll play a lot more on the counter-attack tonight. We're generally defensively away from home, so it'll be interesting to see what that game is tomorrow night. So yeah, hopefully United get the chocolates there. So that's it. That's all the 10 games for this weekend. So yeah. Oh, and for the Burnley United game, keep an eye on. I think Lukaku's got to score this week. I think this is the week Lukaku gets his goal. He's missed golden opportunities the last few weeks, but I think this is the week that he does score. And I think Pogba will put in a lot better performance than what he has done the last 2 weeks. He needs to. So he gets the media and press off his back. And I can't really see anyone for Burnley. I'd say if they're going to score, it might be Chris Wood or Sam Vokes, whoever plays up front for them. I think will be the one to score. So keep an eye on them. Hopefully United can keep them out. This game. So yeah, that's it for Premier League preview this week. So it's gone a bit longer, 23 minutes. So I was hoping to keep it a bit more shorter, but hey, you got to try and cover these games in a little bit of depth. I can't say, oh yeah, Tottenham win 1-0, Chelsea win 1-0, they'll win 1-0, 2-3, 3-0, whatever. 5-minute video. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye. No, you can't do. You got to go. I have to go in a bit more detail. So sorry about that. If you don't like it, then it's alright. But yeah, I'll try and keep it a little bit short, under 20 minutes next week. I went a bit more in depth. Bit annoying that United not doing as well. Maybe they might be a lot shorter if United were doing well. But anyway, this is the end of the video. As usual, if you liked it, give it a like at the bottom of the page, underneath the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe so you don't miss any content, whatever. Go on Facebook. I've got a new page up. Says when, like, I'll be posting when videos are up, when I'll be putting videos up, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. So you keep an eye on that for updates. So I'll be out with probably another video, hopefully mid next week with a game on PlayStation. But if not, it'll be Premier League preview for Gameweek 5 next week. So have a good rest of your weekend, guys. Thanks for watching. Cheers.